Good evening, I'm your host Prasad and you're watching KiniNews. PKR may be all for free and fair elections, but their own party election was a cluster. Never mind, I won't finish that sentence. You know, just like how PKR didn't finish its party elections until a forensic audit had to be carried out, which uncovered fraud in the party polls. Rodzia Ismail was expected to win based on unofficial results. However, now PKR's Wanita chief is Fadina Siddiq.
Rafizi Ramli has officially won the PKR deputy presidency. This comes after the party released its leadership election results following a cleanup of the votes based on the findings of a forensic audit. While most of the results remain the same as the unofficial results, there is one major change. Unofficial results initially placed Rafizi's ally, Rodzia Ismail, as the winner of the PKR women's chief race. However, this has since been overturned, with Senator Fadina Siddiq officially winning the race by a narrow margin of 32 votes. In a statement, PKR Party Election Committee Director Zaliha Mustafa acknowledged that a forensic audit had discovered attempts to tamper with the results by irresponsible parties. However, she said the audit firm had suggested that the results be cleaned up, which the committee carried out in accordance with the digital analysis findings. On Saturday, Malaysia Kini cited sources as saying that the forensic audit had uncovered fraud in the party polls. Party insiders, however, expressed concern that this may open up PKR to interference from the Registrar of Societies. Meanwhile, defeated PKR Gombak Division Chief Candidate Farhash Wafa Salvador Rizal Mubarak has deemed the official results of the party polls as unconvincing. Farhash claimed that while it was not a disappointing result, it was a rejection of the party's principle when clearly a non-transparent process was not resolved with a convincing correction.
Rafizi Ramli, one of the winners of the PKR polls, has a message for all the losers, especially those who may need a little nudge to move on.
Rafizi Ramli has called on his rivals in PKR to accept defeat and move on. PKR Deputy President-elect said the party can't afford to delay ratifying the results of the party polls and Congress any further. Rafizi said this is because they must begin efforts to build support for the 15th general election. The former lawmaker was officially declared as the winner of the PKR Deputy President's race yesterday. Rafizi edged out rival Saifuddin Nasution Ismail by over 16,000 votes. This was after ballots were purged from the tally by the party's internal election committee due to irregularities uncovered by an external forensic audit. Speaking to Malaysia Kini, Rafizi said his rivals had hoped that the audit would overturn the results. He said his rivals think because they are close to PKR President Anwar Ibrahim, they can make use of the internal machinery to overturn the results. Rafizi said he was confident if there was an election again today, he would still win hands down. Rafizi's confidence is based on a survey carried out by his analytics firm Invoke before the party polls. The overwhelming support for Rafizi was almost across the board for each ethnicity and age group except for those aged 18 to 24. The survey noted that one factor that could have benefited Saifuddin Nasution was the support from Anwar.
Will Najib be successful in his final appeal at the federal court? And if he's not, will he be pardoned? None of us can answer those questions now, but UMNO's number 2 says Najib should only be pardoned after doing jail time if his guilty verdict is upheld.
UMNO Deputy President Muhammad Hassan said former Prime Minister Najib Abdul Razak must get a fair trial. However, Muhammad said if Najib is found guilty, then he has to face the consequences. In an Asia Times interview, Muhammad also pointed to previous UMNO leaders who were convicted in court and had to serve their sentence before getting pardoned. The examples cited were former Selangor Menteri Besar Harun Idris and former Minister Mokhtar Hashim. He said this is why Najib should not be given a preemptive pardon. On July 28, 2020, Najib was found guilty on one charge of abuse of power, 3 counts of criminal breach of trust, and 3 counts of money laundering involving 42 million ringgit in SRC funds. Najib is currently awaiting his final appeal set for August at the federal court. He also has another 1 MDB-related case ongoing at the Kuala Lumpur High Court. Muhammad placed the blame on 1MDB for UMNO's first ever defeat at the general election back in 2018, saying they did not manage to address the issue properly at the time.
The Public Service Department has clarified that its proposal for a 4-day work week is only at the feasibility study stage. However, some don't think it's the right time for it.
Malaysia is not ready for a 4-day working week, according to QPAX. Its president, Adnan Mat, said there were other pending matters involving workers' welfare and salaries that have yet to be resolved by the government and employers. As such, he said this is not the right time to conduct a feasibility study for a 4-day working week. Last week, the Public Service Department said it has set up a special team to study the implementation of a 4-day working week, following a request for a thorough analysis from various parties. Adnan suggested that the government focuses on more important employment issues. Among them are the implementation of the minimum wage through the new remuneration system, early redemption of leave replacement and time-based promotions, which have been shortened previously. Separately, Adnan also called on civil servants to maintain a level of excellence in their respective services and not to lose focus while the 4-day working week issue was being discussed.
According to an UMNO leader, Muhyiddin is choosing Faisal Azumu over Azmin Ali for the DPM post he is lobbying the Prime Minister for.
Bersatu President Muhyiddin Yassin is allegedly lobbying for his deputy Ahmad Faisal Azumu to be appointed as Deputy Prime Minister. This is according to UMNO Supreme Council member Muhammad Puad Zarkashi. Writing on Facebook, Puad explained that this would anger Azmin Ali, leading to less political stability. Puad was commenting on Muhyiddin's admission that the latter had discussed cabinet appointments with Prime Minister Ismail Sabri Yaakob recently. This includes the vacant Deputy Prime Minister position. For Puad, Muhyiddin's lobbying had caused further political instability because threats were allegedly involved. According to Puad, Muhyiddin wanted to swiftly arrange a replacement for Zuraida Kamaruddin as the Plantation Industries and Commodities Minister. Puad said Muhyiddin wants to prevent more Bersatu MPs from defecting. Zuraida quit Bersatu on May 24th to join Parti Bangsa Malaysia, a party that supports Ismail Sabri. Thus far, the Prime Minister has not indicated if Zuraida will be replaced.
Syed Saddiq's misappropriation trial continues, with a witness telling the court how the former Bersatu youth leader directed the money to be distributed.
Syed Saddiq ordered for part of 1 million ringgit to be distributed to 2 Bersatu youth members, the KL High Court heard. Bersatu Youth Treasurer Rafiq Hakim Razali testified that he was directed to do so after the MACC came to the former Bersatu Youth Chief's house to investigate a report over an alleged disappearance of 250,000 ringgit. Rafiq said he was directed to do this by Syed Saddiq involving 900,000 ringgit of party funds. The prosecution witness claimed this during the misappropriation trial against Syed Saddiq involving 1.2 million ringgit of funds from Bersatu Youth. After being booted out of Bersatu, the accused formed Muda in 2020. During examination in chief by Deputy Public Prosecutor Wan Shahruddin Wan Ladin, Rafiq alleged that between late March and early April 2020, he received a call from Syed Saddiq to distribute the 900,000 ringgit to 2 Bersatu members. Rafiq was referring to Muhammad Daniel Kusari, who is Federal Territories Bersatu Youth Information Chief, and Taylor Muhammad Nakib Abdurrahim. Rafiq claimed that on Syed Saddiq's orders, he distributed 650,000 ringgit to Daniel and 250,000 ringgit to Nakib, while 100,000 ringgit was used for programs by Bersatu Youth. Rafiq claimed that Syed Saddiq's order came just after the Sheraton move in February 2020. Yesterday, Bersatu Youth Assistant Secretary Ahmad Redzwan Muhammad Shafi testified that Syed Saddiq ordered for the 1 million ringgit to be taken out. Redzwan claimed the order was given to him and Rafiq during a meeting at the Muar MP's house in Petaling Jaya. The witness claimed that Syed Saddiq wanted the cash withdrawn to strengthen his position in the wing. Redzwan alleged that Syed Saddiq's order was against Bersatu's procedure.
Lim Kit Siang is puzzled why Maximus Ongkili, in all his time in government, has not revealed his plan for Sabah's non-citizens.
Lim Kit Siang has urged Parti Bersatu Sabah President Maximus Ongkili to tell Parliament how he intends to tackle Sabah's perennial problem with its non-citizens. In a statement, the DAP veteran lawmaker said it was a tragedy for Ongkili to pin a BN party as the cause of the problem. Lim pointed out that PBS did not resolve the issue since rejoining BN between 2002 and 2018. Lim added that then PBS President Joseph Pairin Kitingan was appointed chairperson of the Working Committee on the report on the Royal Commission of Inquiry into Non-Citizens in Sabah from 2015 to 2018, and Ongkili was a full-fledged cabinet minister for 14 years from 2004 to 2018. Lim said it was also tragic that Ongkili continues to be impotent in resolving this issue, although he is currently the minister in the Prime Minister's department in charge of Sabah and Sarawak affairs. Lim said that in contrast, he had been speaking about Sabah's non-citizenship population and the existence of a citizenship for votes scheme since 1986. Last Thursday, Ongkili blamed ABN Party for being responsible for a citizenship for vote scheme. He said that the voter list will need to be scrutinized in order to remove those who are unqualified to vote. The 2020 census revealed that nearly a quarter of Sabah's population consisted of non-citizens.
And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. If you'd like to support independent media, do consider subscribing to MalaysiaKini.com. I'm Prasad. Thank you for watching.